Hey everybody. This week's question. I'd asked, does God have faith in us? I got challenged because I have said that God has faith in us when he asks us to join him in the work, to do what he calls us to do. He could choose any one of 6 billion people in the world to join him in whatever task he calls us to join him in. But he calls us by name. For me, Chris, I want you to do this. Will you join me? And I said this because he has faith in us. And I'm not sure if it's faith that he has in us, but let me explain why I say this. If we look back at the story of Job, in the story of Job, it says that Job, the most righteous man in the world, God has blessed him. He's just a really, really blessed man. And Job blesses God back. Now, Satan comes up, the audience of angels. Satan accuses Job and says, well, yeah, he blesses you because you've given him everything. Take it all away and he'll curse you to your face. God says, go do what you're going to do. Satan does. Now, God knows what Job is going to do. He knows that Job is going to lift up his name. Peter, story of Peter. When Peter goes to walk to Jesus on the water, he looks around at the waves, he sees the waves, and he starts to sink. Jesus lifts him up and he says, "Oh, ye of little faith, why won't you believe?" Now, Jesus isn't asking Peter, why doesn't he believe in him? Jesus is asking Peter, why doesn't he believe in himself? See, God called Peter, God knew Job, God knows me, God knows all of us. So maybe it's not that God has faith in us. It's not the same kind of faith as saving faith, trusting faith. But maybe it's that God wants us to have faith in ourselves. That if we lean on him, we can do what he asks us to do. So, is it God has faith in us to do these things, which is why he asks? Or maybe it's that God wants us to have faith in ourselves, that if we follow him, he will enable us to do what he's called us to do. Great question. Interesting thought. You really made me think this week. Guys, have a great Father's Day, and hey, we'll have a new question tomorrow. All right, bye.